what's it called? Stars. I just forgot what it was called. Hey, it's Sue in the restricted section. Today I'm going to do a book unhaul. So I'm ready for those dislikes. So first I have 3 books that I'm going to retire them because I feel like they're not really in good enough condition to be resold at all. So even donating them I feel like would not really, I don't think anybody would want them. So the first one I have is Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. This is like the cover's barely hanging on there and it's pretty rough shape. But I did read this maybe 3 years ago. I don't know why I even still have it. Well, I'm probably going to keep it and maybe, I think I'm going to use these maybe for like some sort of craft project or art project or something. But this is a classic kind of sci-fi novel, and to be honest, I really didn't enjoy it. I thought it was pretty boring, and also it pissed me off at the end. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear how this ends, then fast forward until I put down this book. But at the end, they go down to the center of the earth. They discover this lush ecosystem full of like creatures that were extinct, that had been extinct for, you know, millions of years on the surface of the earth, and they're like, wow, there's this great big ocean with tons of life in it. They even see people at one point, like giant people, and then they destroy it. I mean, they had to have destroyed this ecosystem because they like blow a hole in the side of this wall, and then the whole ocean goes rushing into this cavern or something, and they get like you know, they're on the top of the water and it pushes them up and out back onto the surface. That had to have fucked everything up for the whole ocean to go flooding into that cavern, and then they get to the surface and they're just like, well, that was fun. Like, what the fuck? It pissed me off. And then the next one I'm retiring is the Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. I do love The Lord of the Rings, but this is in pretty rough shape, and I have a new set of these books that my boyfriend got me, so I don't need this one. And then the last one that's in not as rough shape, but still isn't resellable, is Lord of the Flies by William Golding, and this has a page missing. But yeah, there's a whole page ripped out on page, it's page 63 and 64. And I read this when I was a teenager, and I didn't know until I got there that this page was missing, but I just kept reading, and I still read the whole book and still enjoyed it, but I never read that one page. Alright, next are some old books that my mom gave me from my parents' house that were still there that I had as a kid, or as a teenager mostly. This one was from when I was a kid, but I'm probably going to get rid of this. It's the Joke Book, compiled by Oscar Weigel, and I don't really have any sentimental attachment to this. I don't even remember where I got it, so I don't think I need it, and the jokes are not very good. It says, why do farmers paint the inside of a chicken coop? To keep the hens from picking the grain out of the wood. The illustrations are kind of cool. I like the illustrations, but I don't think I need to hang on to that. Next I have The Empty Chair by Jeffrey Deaver. I read, I think, 3 of his books back when I was a teenager, all in this Lincoln Rhyme series, which the first book is The Bone Collector, and then this is either the second or third book. I think this is the third, and The Coffin Dancer is the second, and they all follow Detective Lincoln Rhyme, but these kind of books aren't really my thing anymore. I don't read them very often, if at all, and so I don't want to hang on to that anymore. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% certain that I ever read this one. I think I did, but I'm not sure. Next I have my copy of The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Like I said, I have another set of these, so I don't need this one anymore. Next I have The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This is another one that I just have another copy now. I have a prettier copy right here. So I'm just gonna get rid of this one because I don't need two. Alright, next we're getting into books that I have read recently and just, I either didn't like them or I just don't feel like I will want to revisit them. So first I have Empire by David Dunwoody. This is a zombie novel and I hated this book. I thought it was awful. So I'm definitely getting rid of this. I felt like it was just a total mess and I hated all the characters. There's apparently more books in the series, or there's at least a sequel, but I'm not going to read that. And then next we have The Weather of the Heart by Madeleine L'Engle. This is a book of poetry and I really didn't like it. A lot of them just read kind of like gospel hymns. They're a lot about God, which is fine, but not really my thing, and I didn't think they were very good. So next is one that I'm reluctant to get rid of because I just like it for the novelty of it, and I had really high hopes for it when I read it, but I didn't really end up enjoying it, and that is The Adolescence of P1 by Thomas J. Ryan. This is about a sentient computer program, or it's a computer virus really, that ends up, he and his creator end up taking on the US government. And I mostly just found it boring, but I am going to actually give this to my sister's boyfriend because he's very into computers. He works with computers for a living, and I told him about it and he was like nerding out about it, so I told him he could have it. So I'm going to give that to him. Next I have This Is Where I Leave You by Jonathan Tropper. I read this maybe 2 or 3 years ago and I actually really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars. It's about a man who has to go home because his father passes away and he and his family have to sit Shiva? I'm not sure how you pronounce it. And so it's kind of about him like reconnecting with his family, and also he's just recently found his wife cheating on him, so there's that. But I thought it was really good, but I really don't think I'll need to reread it anytime soon at least, and if I do get the hankering to reread it, then I can always get it from the library. Next I have The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer. This is her memoir. It says, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Let People Help. I didn't really care for this that much. I gave it 3 stars. I found parts of it not believable, frankly. Of course I have no way of knowing whether those things actually happened or not, but seemed suspect. And then also, I don't know, it just seemed like a lot of people giving things to her and then her being like, in return you get to spend time with me. Like, whoopity fucking do, you know? So, I don't know, and I'm sure, you know, she probably like played up how generous other people were to her and didn't want to like brag about all the things she did for other people, but I kind of liked her less by the end of the book than I did before I read it. So, I don't know, a lot of people really loved this one, but it wasn't for me, I guess. Next I have The Radleys by Matt Haig. This is about a family who seems like a normal, like, suburban family, but they're hiding a secret, which is that they're vampires. And I just found this very meh. I think I gave it 2 stars. I stopped caring about 50 or 60 pages in, and I kept going because I did enjoy the first 50 or 60 pages, so I was like, maybe it'll get good again. But it never really did. It wasn't like terrible, but I just didn't care about anything in it. Next I have this series, The Lunar Chronicles. I have the first 3.5, I guess, books. Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, and Fairest. And I never ended up buying the last one or the short story collection. The short story collection, I probably will check that out from the library and read it eventually because I did actually really enjoy this series. I gave, with the exception of Fairest, I gave all the books 4 stars. I thought it was really fun. It was a good time, but I don't think I'll want to reread it anytime in the near future. I didn't care for Fairest, so I really don't want to reread that book at all. But I don't feel like I need to own the series. Next I have Landline by Rainbow Rowell. This is about a woman who, she and her husband get into a fight, and she's worried about her marriage falling apart, and then she discovers that she can talk to her husband in the past on her phone from her mother's house. So she's talking to her husband, but it's her husband from back when they were dating. I don't know, it seemed like just something cute and fun, but I didn't really like it very much. I didn't like her husband in the book was, I think, my main problem with it. He gets upset because he thinks she cares about her work more than her family. He's very unsupportive, and he knew before they got married that her career was very important to her. I didn't love any of the characters. I didn't like her male friend character either, because he seemed very much like a I don't want you, but I don't want anyone else to have you sort of person, that's always obnoxious. This book, I'm sure you've heard me rant about on several occasions, and it's The Heart Does Not Grow Back by Fred Venturini. This is about a guy who discovers he can regenerate his limbs and organs, and for some reason he uses that to try and get a girl to like him. I fucking hated this book. I hated every character. I was hoping they'd be dead by the end. Just, no, get out of my life. Next I have Invasion of the Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. I read this again 2 or 3 years ago, and it was alright. I think I gave it 3 stars. I'm sure you probably know the story, you know, aliens come down and they're snatching bodies. The characters were pretty bland. The female character was annoying. Meh. Next I have The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This book, again, I actually quite liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I've never quite enjoyed Neil Gaiman as much as I feel like I'm supposed to. I feel like at this point, with the 3 books I've read from him, I feel like he's pretty overrated. I've heard that I need to read the Sandman comics to really appreciate him, so maybe I need to do that, but this was pretty good, but I don't think I'll want to reread it. And then lastly, I have Nevada by Imogen Benny. This is a book written by and about a transgender woman, and it's just kind of, I look into this part of her life where she and her girlfriend break up and she goes on this road trip to kind of clear her head. I do think that I learned a lot from this book, and I would suggest it as a book to read if you want to learn more about what it's like being transgender, or understand transgender people a little bit better, women specifically. But I didn't actually really enjoy the book that much. The writing style, I did not understand why she wrote it the way she did. If it had been written in first person, I would have understood it more, and probably it wouldn't have bothered me as much, but it wasn't. And so I really didn't like the writing style much at all. So that's it. That's all of the books that I'm getting rid of. Let me know your thoughts. There'll be links below where you can find Megan and I other places on the internet. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Say bye. Bye. You're so cute. Why are you so cute? How'd you get that way?